Welcome back. In today's lesson, we shall be writing the decimal equivalents of given rational number expressions, both positive and negative. Finite or terminating decimals are decimals that end, they don't continue running uncontrollably. To begin, let's solve the first example. And the first example we have here says that we should rewrite the rational number negative 19 upon 40 as a decimal number. I'm going to show you two different ways of solving problems of this nature. The first method is the decimal fraction method, while the second method is the long division method. The decimal fraction method only works when the denominator is convertible to any of 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, etc., without changing the numerator into a decimal number. Now, let's get the party started. As we see here, 19 upon 40. We can easily convert the denominator into any of those numbers we mentioned earlier. So I'm going to bring it out and write here 19 upon 40. Remember, it's a negative number. This can also be written as negative, open a bracket, 19 upon 40. The reason I've done it like this now is so that I can just solve the problem in the bracket, and after then, I can easily bring it out and express my answer as a negative number. So I just need to look for a number by which I can multiply 40 to generate 1000. I know that there is no number to multiply 40 by to give me 100, but I know I can go to as far as 1000. So an easy way to do this is you can simply divide 1000 by 40 first. That will help you. And if you do that, you're going to have 25. So it means that 25 is a number by which we are going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator. Remember, like I said, I'm going to solve just the number itself without carrying along with me the negative sign. So I'm going to multiply both the numerator by 25 and the denominator also. Denominator is 40 by 25. In that case, I end up having my denominator as the number 1000. While my numerator, 119, is multiplied by 25, is going to give me the number 475. 475. So if I bring the negative sign, it means I have negative 475 upon 1000. Now a simple way to see this is the same as you are dividing 475 by the number 1000. Now if you remember your method of dividing whole numbers by numbers 10, 100,000 and the likes of them, we use a method we call Mr. DL. Mr. DL has to do with when you are multiplying, you go right, but when you are dividing, you go left. And in this case, we are dividing by 1000. So we are going to go left 3 places because we have 3 zeros that we are using to divide. So while I'm standing at the end of the number right here, I'm going to go back 3 places this way. I'm going to move 1, 2, and 3. So it means that the decimal number comes outside. And then we're going to use 0 as a placeholder. Simply, we leave our answer as 0.475. This is what your answer is going to be. But remember the negative sign when you started. Therefore, carry it along and put a negative sign. So we can conclude that when you solve the problem negative 19 upon 40 or dividing negative 19 by 40, you end up arriving at the decimal negative 0.475. This is as easy as it seems. I told you I'm going to show you another method of doing this, and let's do that very quickly. So the other method of doing this is using the long division method. So since I'm also dealing with negative 19 upon 40, to use the long division method, prepare yourself the long division table like this. Now what happens is that since you are dividing negative 19, no need to carry along the negative sign. Okay, when you finish, your answer is going to come in negative. So the number you are dividing, which is 19, comes in here, while 40, the divisor, stays outside. So first of all, you ask yourself a question: can 40 divide 19? It's not possible. As long as it's not possible, it means we write 0 and we'll put a point. Now, how do we do it? Since 40 cannot divide 19, give it a 0 and it becomes 190. So can 40 divide 190? Yes, it's possible because 40 can actually divide 160. 4 times 4 is 16. So First of all, we have 4 because 4 multiplied 40 is 160. When we subtract this 160 from 190, we arrive at the number 30. Now the division continues because we have not finished. Now the next thing we are going to do is to divide 30 by 40, which is actually not possible. So we add another 0 to the 30 to make it 300. So this time around, the question we are going to ask ourselves is if 40 can divide 300. Yes, it's possible. How do we know? We know that because 4 multiplied 7 is going to leave us at 28. So it can go as far as 280. 280. Remember that. So it means that when we divide 300 by the number 40, we arrive at the number 7 whole number, remaining some other number, because 7 times 40 is 280. So subtract this, we're left with 20. Can 40 divide 20? It's also going to be possible, so we give it a 0. And this time around, 40 can divide 200 to give us the number 5. Nothing else is left to be divided because 5 times 40 is 200. And when we conduct our subtraction, we are left at 0, as you can see here. So it simply means that the number you see up here becomes our answer. But don't forget you are dealing with a negative. Hence, we simply say that when we divide negative 19 by the number 40, we arrive at negative 0.475. This is what it is. We've gotten this answer. I hope you get that. We've just solved a case of negative rational number and we have arrived at this answer. The same answer we got when we solved with the first method. Do you remember this method? Okay, so since we've arrived at this, let's solve the second example. The second example wants us to solve 35 upon 16. I'm going to use the first method I showed you when I was solving question A. So, because I know that 16 can somehow be converted to something, it may not be able to change to 100, but maybe it can change to 10,000. So what to do is test them out. Divide 10,000 by the number 16. Yes, it's going to work. That gives you the number 625. So what it implies is that I'm going to multiply both the numerator 35 and the denominator 16 by the number 625 for both the numerator and the denominator. So if I do this, that leaves my denominator at 10,000, 4 zeros. And then the numerator is going to be 35 multiply the number 625 will give you the number 21,000, which is 21,875, like this. Now remember the rule. When you have a case like this, simply deal with your division method and remember Mr. DL. So 21,875 is to be divided by the number 10,000, 4 zeros. Remember Mr. DL, division left. In this case, we are dealing with a case of 4 zeros. And when you are dealing with a case of 4 zeros, you have to move back 4 times. So let's move back standing here. I move this way. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So my decimal point comes here. It means that I am arriving at the answer 2.1875 when you divide 35 by 16. When you divide 35 by 16. This is where your final answer brings you. So I've used this method. You can also try using the long division method to try out what I've just solved. And you'll see if you play it perfectly the way it is, you will arrive exactly at the same answer. Whichever method suits you best, use it unless you are restricted to a particular method. And then use number C to practice. I hope you enjoyed this video today. Thanks for watching. Do more practice to make you better. See you later.